Hey y'all, how you doing? It's Valerie here. And today I want to go start working on building my bed at the top ring where I'm going to put the strawberries. And so thought I'd bring you along with me. However, I kind of wanted to show you these pansies we planted together. They're looking really beautiful. Now you're going to have to ignore the weeds that are all around them because it's been raining almost nonstop, so we haven't had a chance to get out here and weed eat or anything. But I still wanted to show you them because they're in full bloom right now and they're looking so pretty. Can you see all those? They will spread more. At least in my experience, I've noticed that they will spread more. They're just so pretty. I grew all these from seeds. I just kind of wanted to show them off to you because we planted these together and I think that they're looking really lovely right now. My stock that I planted there in the middle is still not blooming, but those pansies are really coming out. So I'm up here at my ring garden. Just open this gate for now. And in here is where I'm going to be building my beds. Just going to put them back like they were before around this area, and then there'll be a circle in the middle. And that way I can start the process of getting my strawberries planted. I do have a tarp on this field. We're going to try to get the rest of it tarped probably this weekend and then leave it for a week. We've had it tarped for a good, we had it tarped for a bit, but then we had to take all the tarps off to put our fence up. But now we've got all these patches of green coming up. And we're going to tarp it one last time because those were the weed seeds that were brought to the surface when we tilled. So we're going to tarp it, leave it for probably a week, just depending on how the weather goes, honestly. And then take it off as we're planting. Okay, let me get you set up and get started on building my beds for this ring here.
I don't know where I'm going, world is open wide. Headed for the highway, hitching me a ride. Been to valley bottoms, swung on old grapevines. Searched the forest for the stories I would gather over time.
I have been using this all-purpose liquid nail to just do a dab on each rock to adhere them together, and I'll do the same as I stack it. I have used this stuff before and it works well, and if for some reason it doesn't hold up, I'll just redo it here in a few years with some concrete. When I lived in Huntington, I used this method and it held up for years and years and years. I'm just not sure if I used the same thing. I know it was liquid nail, but I'm not sure if it was the same thing, so we'll just have to wait and see. Time will tell. And so I'm going to start on putting a second layer on this wall and see how far I get.
With a baggie in my pocket, fresh dirt on my shoes, strolling down a back road, singing Grateful Dead tunes. I'm just a drifter, like smoke from a flickering flame, but I follow where the fireflies whisper my...
I got the wall done back there, about a third of the way through on the second layer on the first bed that I was working on when my camera cut off. I decided to just do a dry stack. I let the caulking go because it wasn't quite sticking. It was hard to find the right spot to put the caulking on the stone. And I also decided if it didn't work out that I didn't want to have to like pick caulking off all the stone. So I decided to just dry stack it. When I was in the middle of doing it, I all of a sudden got an overwhelming sense of sadness and overwhelm, just looking at all the weeds and all the stuff that needs done. And I almost quit, almost gave up, but I didn't. I kept going and I got it done. It's not complete. I still need to mulch. We still need to bring some compost up here. I still need to put mulch in the walkways, but the wall is stacked. I put 2 to 3 layers depending on how tall the stone was underneath. I have a couple of really tall stones, so of course I didn't stack those up, but I kind of did 2 to 3 layers all the way around. And the middle circle is not a perfect circle. I went around my plants and it's a little bit oval, but I think it's charming. I think that the non-perfect nature of it looks very natural. And I just use fieldstone. I literally just use the stone that we've been digging up out of the field as we've tilled and planted plants. And last year, whenever we double dug the ring, so that way we could get a bunch of stone out, I've just been using that stone. And I've still got a big old pile over there. But I really like the idea of using what's available to me. I would rather spend the limited money I have on seeds and on soil, but that's just my preference. I don't have a huge budget to do all this stuff. My one big thing I did this year was buy some posts and get metal fencing for my vegetable garden. I'm sorry, if you see me looking around, there's things flying around me, and I'm just making sure it's not yellow jackets. I've seen 2 this year already. And if I see one while I'm out here, I will be going inside as quickly as possible. I do have my EpiPen over there. Whenever I'm working up here away from my house, I'll always carry my EpiPen with me, just in case. EpiPen and Benadryl and a thing of water. Sorry, that was a little tangent I went off of. I just know that you probably see me like looking around because I've got like flies and butterflies and all kinds of different things just kind of flying around. And whenever something gets that close to me, I like to make sure it's not a wasp or a yellow jacket. I do feel good that I got the stuff accomplished that I've got, but honestly, today's one of those days, and I'm trying not to be upset. It's a nice, beautiful, sunny day. It's a good working day. It's only about 70 degrees out, so it's not overly hot, and it's got a breeze, and the breeze makes it even cooler. But for some reason, today is one of those days I just feel like giving up. Today's one of those days where I keep thinking, maybe I should just take out all my plants and start giving them away. I get this way sometimes, and I don't know why, because most of the time I really love doing what I do, and most of the time the plants bring me joy. Every once in a while I get this sense of overwhelm, like I don't know if I can do it anymore. And today's one of those days, but I pushed through, and I'm really proud of myself. I'm going to get up and show you what I got done now. All right, this is coming from my vegetable garden to my ring. There's a little bump out right there because there's a cluster of irises growing there, and instead of digging them up, I just decided to leave them. That tuft right there is also a cluster of irises that may or may not get dug up one day. But here's what it looks like. I'm going to mulch the walkways. I'm going to put some compost in the beds and then put hay over top of those. But I'm done for the day, so this is where I've got to. All this stuff over there, those are tarps and my pile of stone. Let me go show you how much stone I still have left in this pile. All of the stone right here came out of those beds. They came out of like these beds here when I did the double digging. Here it is from this side. And of course that tarp will be off, but and my gates on my arch are wide open. There's my arch. It'll look much prettier whenever I get everything mulched and weeded, and at least I can maybe get my strawberries planted in this bed this year. I do have, let me see, a clematis growing here, and then over here I've got a climbing rose. On that side down there, it's the opposite. I've got a rose here and a clematis there. Climbing rose. Hoping eventually I can get them to grow like up and over on both ends. In this little bed, I have 4 raspberry shortcake, I think is what it's called. Raspberry shortcake mini raspberries. And they are thornless and they don't get very big. And then right in the middle, I have a fig. I don't know if it's going to make it. It hasn't shown any growth. But last year it was pretty late coming up. And then in the middle of these rings, I have a grapevine there. And that right there is a grapevine. I've got one on the other side that mirrors it. They're not really putting on much growth right now, so there's not a lot to show you. I just kind of wanted to tell you what was in here since we're up here working. Around the raspberry, or around the grapevines, like in these beds on the side, I am going to fill them with strawberries. I've got 3 different types. We'll go over those whenever it's planting time. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. It truly does make it more enjoyable on these days, especially when I'm down, knowing that you guys are out there to hang out with. I appreciate you so much. I will see you on the next one. Bye.